And if you want to follow this discussion, you can as well follow it on social media. We are broadcasting on YouTube, on UBC TV. That's on Facebook. We are also on UBC Television Uganda, which is on YouTube. And then we are live on Magic 100 FM. You can also follow on that. But you can also use the hashtag UBC Behind the Headlines. Hashtag UBC Behind the Headlines. And you can join in the discussion and leave your point there. The topic we are discussing, the unrest and how Uganda can have a peaceful 2021 elections. Can Uganda have a peaceful 2021 elections? And to discuss that, we have the Honorable Minister for Security, Honorable Gen Elly Tumwine. We have Honorable Ibrahim Ssemujju Ngenda, and we have Gobi Ramadan, lecturer at MUBS, in the studio. Joining us through Zoom, we have Honorable Margaret Muhanga, who is all the way in Fort Portal City. She is the MP for Buraha in Kabarole. Honorable Ssemujju, before we went into the break, General fielded a number of questions. I want him to rest a bit for now, and then we will bring him more questions coming from the listener, and I mean the viewer. He has insisted on a number of things, one of them being that some of you opposition leaders have not condemned the violence on the streets. And what's your view of this? And especially looking at elections, we have just had about 2 weeks of the campaign. So we have more days, the whole of December and half of January, before the voting on the 14th of January. How will this election proceed?
First of all, the general, he blames everybody except himself. If you shot people who are burning tires, you shot, first of all, that in itself will be extrajudicial killing. You shot the one who was hammering a police woman.
No.
The list of people that you killed are bystanders. I have just watched one of the TVs this evening. A woman who was seated in a coaster, and she was shot there. The bullet is still stuck in her spinal cord, languishing in a hospital. These are the majority of the people that you shot at, you killed, you maimed, and you don't feel sorry. And for you, that was the quashing of the riot, and that was not premeditated. Because you see, and I have kept telling people, and you don't need to be extremely intelligent. If in one day, in 2 days, because of a riot, because of a burning of tire, you have killed more than 45 people, do I need to have been in Iruero to know how many you killed when you faced armed people? In one day, you've shot and killed 60. Because they are rioting, you are shooting in arcades, you are shooting people who are traveling in taxis. I do not have to have been in Iruero to know when you are faced with the armed people, how you behave. Because the examples are there. What you did in northern Uganda, burying people alive in Burucho, roasting people in Mukura, killing people here during the Uganda riots. Everywhere you have been, we know how you have behaved. You can parade yourself as a patriot, as someone who cares about Uganda. That self-entitlement, because you fought in Iruero, so you set the standards and everybody must abide by them. So the public must judge Ssemujju and not judge Tumwine. The day you will discover that other people have a stake in this country and you begin treating them with courtesy and respect, it is the day when we will have peaceful elections. Because the players can change. Yesterday it was Besigye, the other day you were confronting the Kabaka of Uganda, the other day you were in Kasese massacring people. Ask yourself, why you? You are the one killing in Kasese, killing in Teso, in Mukura, killing in Acholi, killing in Uganda. So all these other people don't care about Uganda, they are not patriots. It is Tumwine who is a patriot. You are in Ruwero killing. Until that violence has got out of your head, this country is in trouble. You see, for Ghana now, to begin enjoying the peace that they have, J. Rawlings, who was loading people in helicopters and throwing them in ocean, until it dawned on him that to have a country, you need to do the following. Look at what Kenya is doing, with all their problems. Uhuru Kenyatta says, no. If you keep one part of the country dissatisfied, that country may explode one day. And that's why this section of society should also have an opportunity to lead Kenya. For them, this is like and the reason I said, and I saw Margaret Mohanga, I don't want to take responsibility for ignorance of what I said. I said, look at the root causes. Before COVID came, were you allowing people to enjoy themselves? Did you allow aspiring presidential candidates to go and consult, as the Presidential Elections Act says? Did you allow them? Tumukunde was beaten. Kyagulanyi was beaten. And that's why I said to you, COVID was God sent, because now you can wave it at our face. In the past, who did you allow? Even MPs, you remember? At one time, they said 2 MPs cannot address a rally in another constituency because they think Uganda is their parents' estate. They must determine how other people live in it. You can continue because today you carry a gun. And the mentality of all the African people who carry guns is that the country now belongs to them. They will determine how others enjoy. And I have seen Margaret, of course not surprising. I have heard Tumwine, of course also not surprising, who think they have a higher stake in Uganda. Other people are agents of provocateur. They are the ones disturbing peace, because policemen, you have no justification to win, to kill a person who has come to Kampala to check on his children. You have no justification to shoot at people traveling in a taxi. Even if there is a riot, you don't have that justification to shoot at children who have died. People are collecting bodies. They have fresh graves in their compound. You have no justification. You must treat people with remorse. People are bleeding. They are crying. You've killed their loved ones. What is the difference between you and the past government that you want to fight in Ruwero? They had the similar justification. We are fighting rebels. They are fighting you. So if you continue rationalizing killing, then you have no reason to blame Obote, who was fighting an armed rebellion in Ruwero. Because if you, I just imagine if it were you faced with an armed rebellion, of course when you are faced one, we've seen what you do. You went to Kasese, mauled down everybody. You did the same thing in Burucho, in Acholi. Roasted people in wagons in Teso. We cannot have peaceful election the moment you compete people who have made violence their trade. And you can hear the way Tumwine speaks, as if Uganda belongs to him, is doing people, any other person a favor. The security people you are talking about, they are working on your orders. You are the one who put them on the street to go and begin shooting. Riots have taken place in America, they have taken place in other countries. They don't respond to riots the way you responded to this particular riot. That you go shooting randomly, you beat journalists, you shoot at schools, you shoot. This has to stop. If you want to have a country, today you are the one who carrying guns. I don't know who will be carrying guns tomorrow. When Obote had guns, he thought he had the monopoly of these guns. The same mentality that you have. If you don't want elections, you don't organize them. Just announce that there will be no elections in Uganda, and then you will have no candidates. The moment you nominate candidates, even the COVID you are talking about, Charles, I was giving someone a very simple example. The way Ugandans are same, you will find someone selling drugs in Kampala, and he has 300 people who have collected around him. Because, and Margaret says lack of jobs is not a serious matter. I don't know where she lives. She lives in heaven, where if you don't have a job, it's not a serious matter. In other countries, in Sudan went up in flames because of the price of bread. And that's what removed al-Bashir, because people couldn't afford a meal. So therefore, the totality of people who speak for this government, of the planners, of the murders in Kampala, if that mentality of a strong man does not stop, of mighty is right, I have a gun and therefore I'll shoot you. Policemen have a right to shoot you because you are about to also to kill them. If we don't fight that mentality, we don't have a country, and it does not matter how long it will take. And it doesn't have to be me. In 1980, it is Dr. Ssemujju whose victory was stolen. Museveni, who had lost an election in Mbarara, was the first to go to Luwero to fight. The statements I make here do not in any way suggest I will be the first to go and pick a gun and maybe cause violence. We only care because we all live in this place called Uganda. If we organize the elections, you must also be prepared to lose them. But you organize an election that you must win at all costs. You must determine how people compete against you. You must keep everybody at gunpoint. And you must keep reminding them of how powerful you are, how you can shoot them, how you can end their lives. Please, you can continue ending lives. Even Gaddafi, who had told people he's going to spray them as insects, those insects never died. It is him who had the spray that died. You must change the language, Tumwine, because for you now, you have grown, you are an elder. You can't speak like a Tumwine who went to Luwero to fight. You are an elder now. Stop speaking like an iron-fisted man who thinks the world owes you. It does not. This country belongs to all of us. You must make it comfortable to everybody. The moment you begin herding us like cows, you will not know when and who will make an explosion. Gobi made a very good point. Ask yourself, why do these things keep occurring? Is it because Ssemujju is appearing on UBC? The other day, you were shooting at people protesting because you have stopped the Kabaka of Uganda from traveling, from enjoying in his own territory. You were in Kasese massacring people and you are saying they had guns. You are in Burucho burying people alive because there is a war you are executing in northern Uganda. You are in Mukura roasting people in wagon because there is a rebellion. Ask yourself, this anger, how do we deal with it? Do we deal with it by shooting at people? So when they fall silence for you, that is a victory. Now we have finished. You have seen him celebrating. After 3 days, we finished, and he's very happy. Yeah, 2 days. You finished after shooting people. They are still burning. They are very happy with you. You've said the public will judge. The public is judging you. That after tens of people are dead, for you, are you saying in 2 days we had finished? We had finished. Thank you for finishing in 2 days.
General, you want to respond to that? One of the things he mentions is Gobi. Sorry, I thought General should respond to those direct references. One of the things he mentions, he refers to, is Mukura, which was a very unfortunate landmark in the, mark in your CV. As liberators, and the president came out to apologize about them. Do you, as a senior leader in the military, but also in government, do you at least regret what happened, especially to the loss of innocent lives last week? Yes, well, yes, you can have it.
Really, I find that question very interesting. First of all, there has never been loss of life that is not regulated.
Okay.
All loss of life.
That's important,
should be regulated.
General.
And there should be condemnation, tough action on those who do it outside the law.
Yeah.
The history of the National Resistance Army and the NRM is on record that for us to create a new type of armed force as opposed to the old ones was because we put tough rules in the NRI Code of Conduct, which is now
sanctions
which is
against
now
those
in
who
the
abuse.
UPDF Act, all of them, which deal with anybody, any errant soldier of the UPDF who make a mistake, we shoot him. That's what our laws say. So that we prevent the negative people, the bad people in our society, from spoiling the good work of the innocent people. So
Good.
anywhere where there has been loss of life, it is regrettable.
Good.
However, when it comes to these facts, because you can go to any incidents of these, and each incident has been handled and explained why it happened. In this particular case of the people who have been killed and where people are trying to be sentimental, and I even heard somebody saying no senior person has condoned with the with the bereaved. Government officials, the Minister of KCC on that second day and the Minister of Health went to the hospitals and talked to the casualties who were there. Government has been condoning with the families, and more efforts will be coming out. And therefore, everybody should regret the loss of lives and the injuries and the suffering and the inconvenience and the robberies and the disruptions are regrettable. But the question is, who planned, who prepared, who started, who caused that what has now resulted in this regrettable situation? Therefore, that's why we need to understand who is misleading the public. Emotions about death of life. If you create chaos, anarchy, which results in death of lives, lives actually started dying before even bullets were shot. People were being knocked by cars which were being chased, you saw, because we are now talking of what is visible. And therefore, anybody who keeps saying the violence was okay, but the only problem is the result. No, this is the result. The result is regrettable because they were lives innocent. Not all of them were, by the way, we are still researching. Not all of those who died were innocent. We have to sort out who were innocent and who were not. That one is a subject of investigation. So, part of the security forces are part of the injuries. Injured by the rioters, prepared by the political leaders to attack. And they said this before. You heard Ssemujju said they had more power, more people than the police, and they have been training to attack the police. So imagine who is a danger to society. The one who goes and plans to disrupt the peace of the people of Uganda and cause death and burn the city and burn petrol stations and do all the havoc, and you think they will not be dealt with? So I want to say that the one who started it, you see, the whole point is the motive. What was the motive of those who started it? And please, you people, he was saying, me, I talk with power. At my age, I have an obligation to tell you Ugandans the truth. Me, I don't go around like this.
That's important.
Please, the truth remains the truth. Lies always get defeated. I don't want to stand here and say, young people, you have a right to attack the security. They are not going to attack you. That will be a lie. And this is what these people do. They go and say, we train you so that you can attack the police, because our police has been very kind, was not violent, has been friendly to the public because of our training. So, for people to teach those who are keeping them safe and plan to attack them, and then they complain, when some incident, when unfortunate results come out of it, you should be regretted. You should condemn anybody. And I'm going to the third point, by the way. There are three areas. There is the action, the physical action of participation in the riot. There is the incitement by the leaders. Then there comes this genocide language. That one is actually more serious. The genocide language that accompanied the violence, where the so-called representatives, I don't know whether they represent Uganda actually, because I'm waiting to hear whether the leadership of the Uganda are coming out to either own these people or deny them, who are threatening other tribes.
What does that mean, General? The leadership of Baganda, what does that mean?
I'm saying the leadership of the Baganda people. I have not heard.
Which one would that be?
No,
would that
both
be
in government
would
and
that
in
be an
cultural
MP?
leaders and anywhere. I am waiting to hear.
Would that be an MP
Anybody
in
who
Buganda
says
or
these people are not speaking on our behalf, because it is not in the interest of any tribe for anybody to speak a genocidal language, which threatens and talk openly and nobody replies to say no, these are individuals, these are criminals who are speaking a wrong language, which we condemn, which we don't support. We talk of the peaceful coexistence of the people of Uganda, and that's what I think should be said. I am still to hear an official leader say that was wrong, they don't represent these people. Instead, you hear more of the continuation of it. Now you hear the other side. Some people are saying, oh, we are also prepared for you.
But General, allow me first guide. Allow me guide. General, the trouble I find with that is because it is a general statement that comes on social media, and it is hard to align it. You remember when? Do you remember, General, with the hindsight memory? Do you remember when Honorable Mbabazi, when the Honorable Mbabazi, your senior colleague, announced that he was standing, and there were clips of, these video clips on social media again that were in Runyankore, in Ruchiga, and you could not tell a source of it. Did you ask anybody from Chigezi or from Ankole to come and say, or would you not be unfair to say generally leaders of Baganda? Because I think that is not possible. Who are you blaming for that? And who are you holding?
I can tell you, when that came out, many people spoke up, including the president.
Yes, the president spoke about it.
Against this type of talk. And we have always preached against sectarianism.
True.
Anybody
practiced it.
Anybody who
you have preached against it and practiced it.
Who advocates for sectarianism is against his own interest. In Uganda of now.
True.
It is very difficult to separate who is a Munyankore, who is a Muganda, who is what.
Then why should you be worried?
So,
it is very difficult to separate.
Those who are speaking on behalf should be told that you are just speaking for yourselves, you are a criminal, you are breaking the sectarian law, and you are talking a genocidal language, but I can tell you that no one will succeed with it.
It is bad, and we must condemn it. But General, do you know there is a gentleman with a long mustache, white, who actually was one of those who recorded himself. For him, he recorded himself, and you can see his face. He recorded one where he is talking about tribal things. Then this week, it emerged he is now recording one for our ruling party. And he is again attacking violently on video, which he has recorded. But he is not being called to account or being stopped.
How do you know?
It's not being condemned.
I want you to join those who will condemn whoever.
Me, I am always doing that.
I would like you to know and join, and I'm telling you, anybody, whoever it is, depending on whichever side
he or she is. They're usually men.
Who speaks? We are talking of the whole of Uganda. We are talking of uniting Uganda. And then you start picking tribes, religion. Please, it has not worked.
Okay.
And
good.
Anybody who tries it,
That's a fair point.
will actually not succeed.
Fair point. Gobi.
No, I hope before Gobi does, that Gen Elly Tumwine remembers what the Honorable Kategaya used to advise. What did
the late Kategaya advise?
I attended the meeting of PAFO in Jinja, in Mbarara, and in Mbale. And the things that you don't want to happen have happened in Uganda before. When Idi Amin went, people of his tribe suffered. The same happened when Obote went.
And we must avoid that.
And Kategaya, exactly. So Kategaya said, you need a peaceful transfer of power. Otherwise, you are going to be seen the way you don't want to be seen. As a consequence, you like it or not. So his point was, we can avoid it by having a peaceful transfer of power. If it doesn't happen,
now you want the debate to be between you and
the violence that followed the Idi Amin, the violence that followed the Obote, will be a consequence. You may wish it away, but it will happen.
Are riots peaceful?
Okay, I will ask General after Gobi and Margaret. Gobi, Honorable Ssemujju is introducing the aspect of transition. General talked about it earlier, the whole issue of transition. Do you think that we are at where we are because of that, the lack of that, or are some of these young people feeling agitated and all that because of the feeling that we need a new lot, not the General Tumwine's lot? And must they use that means to express it?
New lot.
Charles.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I wrote an article. You know, I write a column.
You do. Remind us, there are many.
In 2016, after the elections, there were almost similar events, like the one we saw the other day. And I wrote an article with the headline, Ugandans are damn angry. Why? And the people who read my article last week, they thought I had written it last week. But it's nearly 5 years old article. It is an article which was asking why are Ugandans have reached the, when I say Ugandans, I'm a bit unfair. Some Ugandans, yes, particularly younger people, especially those in this greater Kampala metropolitan area, because this is the one where I stay and where I follow some of these events on social media and so on. They're exhibiting a lot of anger. When you read the messages, for example, the head of state is talking. Some of us have access to social media. You go to Facebook, and you are seeing many younger people abusing leaders in very bad language. And now the general is bringing in the aspect of sectarian voices and so on. This has been known. It hasn't just started. Same message I saw in 2016. I remember vividly a certain younger family, a man who got his children, very younger babies, 3-4 years, and he put there the poster of President Museveni. And these younger boys, one boy and another girl, were picking stones and hitting the poster. And the father was asking, what are you doing? And they said, we are beating Museveni. And he went ahead and asked, why are you beating him? They were speaking in vernacular. Kubanga atumazeke mirembe. And these are babies. Someone was now, you know, these things we see them in the Middle East or somewhere, was teaching these babies. Now they should be around 9 or 10 years. But now, I wanted to find out, why have we reached that point of Ugandans getting too angry? And you know, Gen Elly Tumwine and the senior NRA leaders, they know very well what happens to younger people when they get angry to the point where they were in 1980. as equally younger people. And I wouldn't want to see that. So that brings us into the reasons. I would want Uganda to sit down and look at this. And when I talk of Uganda, I mean both the leaders and the led on why have we reached this point. Because Uganda has been one of those countries where other countries in Africa have been sending delegations to understudy us on how we are progressing. But now, today, I want to tell you the truth in general. Very few younger people have space in their head even to listen to policy issues. They are just about slogans, and the slogan, the common slogan is, Museveni must go. This is an issue which nobody should brush away. We need to look into it. Why are they saying Museveni must go? Is it because they don't like a man called Gen Elly Tumwine, whom I think many of us have seen as the only person as a president of Uganda, and some of us who have been able to be more proactive have even read where Uganda was and where it is today. Because the two Ugandas, they are completely different. This is a Uganda where we can speak on TV at midnight and we go home. And we reach home. And we do things. Before COVID, these very younger people go to disco, they dance up to morning, they go home. Nobody touches, even girls. Sometimes I used to leave very late, and I find my only students I teach at MOOCs when they are going out at around midnight. They move, girls move on the road, and to me that is progress. But they are not anymore appreciating this. Why? Because number one, there are three things. The economy of Uganda has been progressing for a few people. It has left out very many younger people. So there is a lot of unemployment. There is a lot of, still poverty and subsistence and inequality. These must be issues which, for years, some of us have been singing, must be addressed to ensure that so many people are integrated in this national cake. There is the aspect also of the social issues. You are talking of this social cohesion is no longer there. These ethnic now undertones you hear. It's because some people think some are benefiting more than others. And as leaders, you reflect on some of these things. The last one is the political issues, of course. For me, the political tensions are built on this winner takes it all. We must, find a way now of sharing power. Because whenever you win the election, you take all of the power and you leave others without anything. And I think in a younger democracy, a younger nation like Uganda, a younger state, there must be ways of inventing means of sharing power. In Kenya, they did it, for example, they integrated those they have defeated. You remember after 2007, and it helped to calm down the tensions. Here
and
in
now
Uganda,
they are doing the BBI
Dr.
again.
Besigye has been fighting with the NRM for how many years now?
Since 2001.
He has never gotten anywhere near the table. So some of these things we need to start discussing them.
Okay, General, allow me bring. I want to bring you in. There are many questions that have been pushed at you, but let me bring Margaret for some 2 or 3 minutes, and then I ask her to ask her question. We have General Ssemujju has come here before, but we have a culture here where the panelists, the hosts here, ask the guests a question. So I will start with Honorable Margaret. Make a point, and then make your point, the response you wanted to give, and then you ask your question, and then I'll come back to the studio here because time is flying fast, and we need to start winding up. Margaret. Excuse me. Margaret, can you unmute? Margaret, unmute your set.
Yes, thank you, Charles. And I would like to, first of all, inform my dear friend, Honorable Ssemujju, that I did not mean that having jobs is good. I did not say that. What I said is that there are more opportunities under this government than opportunities that we had. Actually, I grew up under this government, but there were fewer opportunities. Now that the economy has expanded, there are more opportunities. But these opportunities cannot be grabbed by everybody. There was only one university when I was going to school. They are now over 36. A lot of graduates are coming out of school. Even other people have gone to tertiary institutions but have not got jobs, and they are angry. But their anger should not take themselves to the streets. And I appeal to parents, do not allow your children to go on streets to meet their anger. There are so many avenues in which we can bring these young people together. We don't have to shout at them. We don't have to speak to them in bad languages, but we can bring them together, find something that they can do. Not everybody will be gainfully employed. After all, anyone who is employed has never been rich. Sudiri is not employed by anybody. Katani is not employed by anybody. Mukwano is not employed by anybody. So most rich people actually employ themselves. So let me tell you one thing that I always disagree with my friend Ssemujju. Ssemujju comes from a totally different background. His background is a very highly intoxicated constituency, intoxicated with anti-Museveni sentiments, anti-government sentiments, which they create themselves as leaders, and then it reflects in their constituents. Should he not incite his constituents? Ssemujju, you and me agree that you won't get fought. If you speak about any good thing about this government, people will say you've been bought, because that's what you've been preaching. So you are a slave of your own words. And where things have reached with most of you guys in parliament, especially those who come from Kampala and Wakiso, is that, you see, there's a saying that if somebody doesn't like you, even if you dance on top of water, they will complain that you are raising dust for them. So even if President Museveni and his government dances on top of water, you complain that they are raising dust. One thing you need to note is that it takes two to tango. There is another saying that if you are going to hit a snake that is lying within the precincts of your eggs, you will hit the snake, but you will break some of your eggs. I am very, very sorry. Even if I don't speak for government, but I'm very sorry that innocent people lost their lives. But before I blame the security forces, I blame people who caused the riot. If they had not gone to riot, were the police going to shoot them from their homes? Were they going to follow them anywhere? Let us not promote lawlessness. Let us promote peaceful demonstrations. People can wake up in the morning, walk along the streets, protest, but really breaking into people's shops, beating up people who are wearing NRM t-shirts. That was not right. I said on this before.
Margaret, now your question.
That my ambulance was in Kampala, an ambulance that carries patients. But just because it had my pictures and NRM colors, people were hitting it, and yet there was a patient in it. That's not fair. You also need to teach your riotous people some good manners somehow. You cannot start hitting at innocent people, hitting at the police. Sincerely, somebody is armed and you are hitting them with a stone. What do you expect?
Honorable
It
Margaret,
takes two to tango.
now your
If
question.
you have not hit these people, they will not hit you.
Now your
Now
question.
I want to go to my questions. Can I please ask my questions so that I leave at once?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask my questions. I want to ask Gen Tumwine to tone down, because fire is not answered with fire. Where people have annoyed you so much, I know that you have a passion for this country. And a lot of people have been provoking you into saying things that you may not have said. But tone down a little. So, and my next question will be to Ssemujju Ngenda. Please, Ssemujju, stop inciting your people.
Okay.
If you tone down yourself, because I am telling you that fire is not answered with fire. The same way you are exchanging with the general, it is not solving the problem. Can you two people kindly tone down and stop inciting the public?
Okay.
It's your word against his.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And nothing you are getting from all this conversation. Most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. I also wanted you not to overtalk, because I know you have been going through a lot and your voice is coarse. And it is worse when you are talking on phone and through the gadget. General, you will start with answering her. The question she has asked is a direct one, but you can tie it with two other questions. One, just, I know you can do this. Someone called Eddie is watching you and says, Ndugu Charles, ask the general for me. The same way security is picking up some of the rioting ringleaders, should we expect the security forces that carried out, that some of the security members that carried out, especially the extrajudicial killings, to also be prosecuted? Are you investigating this in their individual capacity? That is a question from Eddie. And then Gobi also asked the question of, have you failed on the social cohesion of the country? In your 10 points program, point number 3, you talked about national unity and something to do with social cohesion. Have you failed? And then, General, there is someone who is asking about the transition question. Do you think that if, let's say, if Muntu or Chagulanyi or Amuriat or Mao won, or any of the candidates defeated your candidate, President Museveni, would you peacefully hand over power to those? Those are some of the questions you need to respond to.
Okay.
You can do them pap, so that I can give you another opportunity.
But before I really go to the answering those specific questions, which I will, I really want to raise a very serious matter.
Yeah.
Of values within our society. And you know, for security, peace and security of a society comes from the values of that particular society. And I want to make this understood, especially by the old people and also the young people. There are moral values, there are political values, there are religious values, there are cultural values, there are legal values, there are economic values, and many other values which promote the common good, which promote everyone to feel that in this society I am safe and secure. If I behave in a particular way, there will be no problem. But if I behave in another way, there will be danger to me. Now, I would like to appeal to every family leader that the issue of security is everyone's role, starting from yourself and starting from your family. And it would be very interesting. I was hearing Gobi saying about the young people, that the young people have no space in their head anymore to hear anything. And all that is full in their head is if 7 must go. That is not true. I have spent some time quite with young people, and I engage them. I can tell you, the majority of the young people in Uganda, and I will give you evidence, are more than willing now to understand and study the history of Uganda than before, because of what is threatening their future. It's now the threat about their future that they are now concerned about. And if I may just give you figures, because we should not talk from the air. There has been a very good election of the National Youth Council, from the village level to the parish level to the sub-county to the district. And those who are claiming that the young people are saying Museveni must go, 97% of the elections are won by NRM. Now, how can you say that all they want, that the young people are Museveni must go? That's not true. As I speak, the young people have actually said, and they have started a movement called Violence Upon themselves, because these who are advocating for violence are threatening their future. Majority of the God-fearing, peace-loving, patriotic young Ugandans are not going to be part of this chaos, and they have said no. And I can assure you, that's why I'm telling them, don't be deceived by anybody, especially the young people, because there has been influencers, wrong influencers, because of poor values, because of no values lost, who have been foreign forces, who have been trying to propagate their interests, agents, their agents among the politicians and among the journalists, who have been propagating a constant message against the interests of the young people.
Even journalists?
Even journalists. Majority are bought by the negative forces for that purpose.
I hope I'm not among them.
I will check you out. But they are also,
you're going to check my blood stream.
But they are also, what I'm saying, there are very many positive journalists who are patriotic.
Now where am I?
And who have been, I have told you I will check you out. So talk to me nicely. I will tell you the right truth, what I think about you. Because what I'm sharing with you, viewers,
I'm just kidding,
is really that we should tell each other the truth. What we should all combine to do, starting from the home. And I would like to appeal to parents, sit down with your children and actually ask them what they think about the current political situation. You may be shocked. You may find that actually what you think is completely opposite of what they think. And find out why.
Okay.
And what they will tell you.
Go to the questions now.
They will
time is running.
Yes, as time is running out.
Yeah.
They will tell you that on WhatsApp, may have started the movement of what's down. Because WhatsApp is in the air there. And whatever goes up comes down. So, if you went to the what's down, the realities of the ground, you'll find that
behind the headlines, like this one.
Like this one.
Behind the headlines.
We should tell each other the truth. Start from your home. Let's talk to our young people. Talk about values, which are for our common interest, which we should all share. Whether you have an institution, a school, or a university, let's discuss these matters. And that's my appeal.
Okay.
That let's tell the truth and not just trying to be political arguments for the sake of it. Now, Honorable Muhanga's question of fire is not answered by fire. Actually, in my culture, when somebody starts a fire here, for you to get out that fire from spreading, you go and make fire ahead of it. And you encircle it.
But that is not in your culture only.
No, it is
that is a proven scientific way of putting out fire. Even in my culture, we do that.
Some people don't know about it. You have to go and teach people how fire is when you start here and it starts, and as far as the wind is blowing this way, you go and make fire ahead, so that by this time it goes there, it finds there is a space it cannot continue burning. I want to assure Ugandans that these threats of violence have not started now. Since they started long ago, as my brother God was saying, that these elections have had violence, they have been, while you were there planning for defiance of everything, we have been also making our round fire ahead and preparing and gaining more capacity. There is a time I had a function with Dr. Kiza Besigye together. And they had almost stopped him from speaking. I said, no, let him speak, and he spoke. And of course, as usual, condemned the government and was saying what he normally says. And afterwards, I stood up and I said, you people clap for Honorable Dr. Kiza Besigye. He has said he has always been put in and put out. And Banyankole say, when you are arrested and released, many times it means you have friendly, you had some old friendship there. But I said what is even more important is that Dr. Kiza Besigye, whenever he has been trying to violate the law and break and walk to work, and has helped us to improve our security capacity. And that's what I want to assure Ugandans.
But you know, on the record, he has he has won most of the cases, if not all, that were brought against him.
Yes, but see, that's a legal process. That does not mean.
And that is the legal process.
What I am saying,
I expect you to
wait a bit. We respect it than anybody else.
Yeah.
So, what I am telling Ugandans is that we have not been sitting here waiting for any defiance to come and walk over us. Waiting that any violent person who wants to come around will be listened to. I want to assure Ugandans that our patriotic forces, supported by the God-fearing, peace-loving, patriotic Ugandans who are the majority in the country, are ready to defend the peace and security of Uganda. And no one will disturb that one.
The other questions, General.
Using whatever means. Apart from, you know, the battle now is not about bullets. It's about this argument, discussion, exchange of views. Now let's have the truth against what is not the truth. Now, word against this is a constant. Every time I have been in the studio, he never changes. He's always on the negative side of things. And I have been telling him he hasn't changed. I will not change to his side. Because for him, when he came to Parliament, recently, 10 years ago, me, I have been there 35 years now. And I tell whoever comes to Parliament, I have been having that responsibility of trying to win over, actually bring harmony between even the opposition and the party. Because it is my responsibility for the harmonization of our country.
Okay.
But some people are consistent and we live with them as they are. Now the question of Eddie, that the same way is picking up the ringleaders and are we picking up those who carried out extrajudicial killing? You see, no one should is about to teach us about.
Or are you investigating them?
Yes, I told you right from the beginning.
Will they be brought to book?
That we are tougher on our own people than anybody can do. If there were some errant members of the force who are found to have violated the rules of the game or the procedure or the orders of their seniors, those we deal with.
Okay.
Automatically. You don't even have to tell us.
We
are more interested because we have a reputation to defend of being a pro-people's army.
The transition question.
Now, this question is a very interesting one. The moment we as a country accept that we are going to engage in a multi-party election, in a competition of some candidates who are all officially nominated, and they are supported by the government and by everybody and by security to go and campaign, is a clear indication that whoever wins the elections takes the day.
Okay.
So there is no doubt on that question.
Okay.
The democratic process, and I will come to the question of sharing power about Godi, which is a very good point.
Yes.
Is power shared? On that one,
very hard one.
No, it's the easiest. From our principle, program number 1, real democracy, which we started with, Uganda is the most democratic country in terms of sharing power. Right from the president, I don't know of any other country which has elections up to LC1. That was the main purpose of sharing power in our original participation under the movement system, so that as many people as possible at different levels can share power,
Okay.
but through a democratic process.
Okay.
So Ugandans, don't be deceived by what people say. From LC1, there is power.
Okay.
Up to
Let
the
Honorable
president.
Ssemujju respond to Margaret's question, and then I bring in Gobi.
Margaret's question,
Margaret thinks that the tone of debate, discussion, actually, I pray that she meant not, maybe not that for Honorable Ssemujju as a person, but that broadly the tone of the opposition in discussions against the current ruling government is a tone which is only insightful of the followers. I hope that is what she meant broadly.
this time people went on the street without anyone calling them, without any statement that any media can quote that was uttered.
They are there.
They simply went on the street, the same way Pekosukutesa saw Museveni humiliate that Chireka and went to fight. The trouble is that the Tumwines think this Uganda owes them, and every other person is a small person. It is them who are big. Now they discovered that you can arrest one person and then you have to kill 60 to stop the response. Inevitably, it can take longer. It can take longer. And I worry for this country. I had an opportunity, a debate with Mr. Museveni on a radio station, and I pleaded with him. The disadvantage that this country has, people like Tumwine who should be pleading with their elder brother, they are the ones cheering him. That's the trouble that we have. That the cool-headed NRM founders, the Kategayas, died. Now you have the Ajuwado Muliros, the Tumwine. Because you need serious people who are going to sit down with Museveni and tell him not to go down with the country. The moment you have Tumwines who are cheering him up, we are in trouble as a country. I have asked the religious leaders, I have asked there are fewer people now remaining in NRM. The elder ones who are there are yes people. The ones who will tell Museveni, please don't go down with the country, are no longer there. They were chased, others have died. And you have the Tumwines, that brand is the most dangerous brand of NRM, who think because you have a gun, we will sort you out, we shall, in 2 days we finished. And he's celebrating. People are crying. They have fresh graves in their compounds. And the minister responsible for security is saying in 2 days we had finished. Congratulations, Gen Elly Tumwine.
Gobi, make your last statement and ask the question.
I will go direct to the question and start with the Honorable Ssemujju. It's a two-in-one question, and they require very short answers. Why do you, Honorable Ssemujju, the opposition politicians, find it difficult to condemn premeditated acts of violence? And relatedly, why have you refused to adhere to the COVID SOPs, well knowing this is a global pandemic which has killed over 1.4 million people, and actually here in Uganda it is about to get to 200 people. And to Gen Elly Tumwine, why don't you use rubber bullets to quash the riots? And being the custodians of the security of life and property, don't you gauge the collateral damage in deploying officers with live bullets? Why have we thrown away the culture of rubber bullets so that we can save lives?
As Ssemujju is going to start, General, the final question, there are two questions that have come from someone called Billy. He's saying, Charles, please ask General Elly Tumwine, is he still a serving UPDF officer? That's from Billy. And then the final one,
Is that a question?
That's a question.
Read the UPDF Act. His name is permanently engraved there. Read the schedules.
And then
this
the
army
other
is theirs. Their
question,
names
General,
are there.
The other question is, in your estimation, was the last week's operation meant to be for the military or for police to handle? Ssemujju, you can start.
So go with the. I am not speaking on behalf of all the opposition. I am, as a person, reluctant to blame victims, and that invitation I decline. That you shoot people, and as we bury them, you invite me to condemn them that they were burning tires. I decline that invitation. The second point, if we've resumed normal lives in the markets, on the street, and everywhere, you will be a fool to think that COVID is going to spread only when Ssemujju is addressing a rally in Chireka. The whole country is not adhering. So do I want to become an angel? And the reason we are being beaten is not because this government cares now anymore about, they're actually opening up everything. So the reason we are being beaten is because they have bad mannered, they don't want to compete with the people, yet they announce competition.
Okay. General, in 1 minute.
Yes, in 1 minute.
We have crossed into midnight now.
Yeah, I will quickly answer Godi's question of why not use rubber bullets? Don't you gauge the collateral damage? That we do. And as I told you, as I made in my statement when I was addressing the media, I say we are analyzing the situation and we shall be changing the tactics according to the situation. So we analyze. For example, we found tear gas was indiscriminate. When you put tear gas, it affects whoever is in the area. It does not go for the culprits. But batons are more direct and are part of the anti-riot tools, which was used and effectively used too. And then the question of somebody who was asking that, am I still a serving officer? Yes, I'm still officially serving officer of the UPDF. And because I'm representing them even in parliament.
But you remember you was retired?
I was never retired. You see, you misinformed the public.
Sorry, you left the army.
You misinformed the public. Keep quiet about that. You don't know about the army.
You can't ask me to keep quiet.
You don't know anything about the army. Don't tell lies about the public. We are tired of people who misinform the public.
Your name is permanent in the UPDF Act.
Of course.
Even when you die, your name will remain the UPDF Act as the member of the High Command.
You see, he
that
says,
I know.
He makes statements.
And you think this is the National Army, where Tumwine is a permanent member of the UPDF High Command?
He will have to prove that I was retired. Whoever alleges must prove. Yes.
Do I have to everything
then
about
don't
you?
Tell the
Everything
public,
about you is irregular.
Don't tell the
do
public,
I need to prove?
Don't tell the public lies. Keep quiet.
That your name is in the law.
You know.
That you are a permanent member
Please,
of the
UPDF
High Command.
Don't put me in your shoes. I'm above it because I cannot argue what is
my
not,
shoes
what
is too big
what
for
is,
you.
What is not true. You know the difference here is it true?
And that's how you have lived.
Secondly,
when you cross the road in
secondly, let me finish off. Let me finish off.
Because you think you are above everybody.
Now,
that's the mentality that you have.
Can I finish answering these questions before he rudely interrupts?
Honorable Ssemujju, let General respond.
No, Tumwine must stop thinking that he's in the mass.
You are indisciplined. You are a negative force.
You cross the road. You are the only one using acacia.
Yes.
You remember?
Now you better grow up. You have just survived.
Remember when you are fighting with Oranya in Parliament? You who has discipline.
What? So what?
Which discipline do you have to win?
Please, say what you want. The public is seeing.
You are fighting with Oranya.
Who is telling the truth?
Remember?
He comes and tells the public lies, 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 lies. And your time will come when it will catch up with you. In your, somebody was asking, in your estimation, was this a military or police? This is always, of course, the police are always in charge of the normal law and order enforcement. But the Constitution provides that they can call upon the UPDF to reinforce them where necessary. And this is a practice all over the world. So that one is not in question. It was not for the military. It was initially for the police, but with a free constitutional right to be reinforced by the armed forces, because all security forces have one responsibility: protect the sovereignty of the country, protect the lives and property of the people. So I really want to congratulate our security forces for what they have done. Restoring peace and order within 2 days was not an easy thing for a premeditated, planned to burn Kampala and other places, to destroy property, to cause mayhem. That one, everybody should support the security forces. All of you watch out. I appeal to the public. Watch out for those who are holding night meetings in secret. Watch out for those who are collecting weapons of destruction. Watch out for those who are talking the language that divides our people. Watch out for the political leaders who are inciting them. Watch out for the foreign forces who are sponsoring them. Watch out for those who are misleading our young people. And watch out for those who are telling the young people the truth, those who are giving a hope to the future, those who are explaining all the planned programs to take care of their problems. And we have a future, a great future by the young people. And okay. Last year in December, I was invited to present a paper in Egypt at an International Youth Forum. Is the African youth an asset or a liability? And I can tell you, African people, wherever you are, there has never been an opportunity for Africa to have an asset of its young generation. Right from Uganda, our young generation, even if they have not got jobs right now, there are programs and arrangements to ensure they will get.
Charles, are we in Egypt for 2 minutes to give another paper?
The best opportunity that Africa has is having a young, dynamic, educated, healthy young people who have opportunity to get information and innovation ideas all over the world. This is the best time. Young people, don't be misled by diversionists. Just save your country and discuss and see who is telling you the truth.
That last point is most important, that can we have discussions, can we have discourses, can we have debates like this, other than fighting on the streets, other than shooting at each other, and especially leading to loss of lives. Political questions or controversies or dilemmas must be guided by peaceful discussions. And someone said the moment we stop to talk is the moment violence comes in and we start to fight. I think we need to do that. But like I've made it my point, especially to you, the young people, take care, because COVID still exists. It is here. Forget the political dilemmas that have led us into the current disagreements and confusion over COVID. Take care of your individual life. That's the point we have reached, and scientists all over are now saying we have reached a point of community transmission. COVID is around us. Yes, you can be a young person, but so many people have lost their lives even when they are less than 30. You never know.